Hello students, hope you have watched the earlier two videos on parts of speech. The first part of speech, noun, then I describe you the second part of speech, that is pronoun. Today we are going to discuss adjectives, which will be our topic for today. Now adjectives also can be related to nouns or pronouns because they tell us more about nouns or pronouns. Therefore, we can call them as describing words, because they are describing or telling us more about nouns or pronouns. Now let us see the different kinds of adjectives. So we will be more familiar with the kind of verbs that we use in the sentences. So the first kind of adjective is adjective of quality. As the word suggests, it tells us about some quality about the noun. For example, tall girl, or a pretty dress. It is telling us something about the quality of the noun. Or say maybe a young boy. They are describing to us about the noun. Let us see the second kind of adjective, that is adjective of quantity. Adjective of quantity gives us something about the quantity of the noun. Why we refer to as quantity? Because it cannot be counted in numbers. Something which cannot be measured in number or a specific unit, we use the adjective of quantity. For example, some milk or some sugar. Many toffees, few students. Okay, so these are adjectives of quantity, which give us the quantity or tell us about the quantity of the noun. The third kind of adjective is adjective of numbers. These will contain both cardinal and ordinal numbers. When I say cardinal numbers, we are counting numbers like 2 persons, 3 students, so all numbers 2, 3, 4, etc. And even ordinal numbers which give us the order or rank. For example, first student of the class, or he stood first in the class. When we mention ranks like first, second, third, these are ordinal numbers. So all ordinal numbers come under adjective of number. The next, demonstrative. Demonstrative, there are 4 words that are used under demonstrative adjectives. They are this, that, these, those. Now, these same words came under demonstrative pronouns as well. How can we differentiate between demonstrative adjectives and demonstrative pronouns? When we use demonstrative adjectives, it will be immediately followed by a noun. For example, this dress or that table, immediately it is followed by a noun. Whereas when we consider demonstrative pronoun, we will usually there will be a verb in between. For example, this is the dress I bought today. So this is the dress. This here will be a demonstrative pronoun. Whereas when I refer as this dress or that table, immediately followed by the noun, it is immediately pointing to the noun or demonstrating the noun which is being referred to. Then it is demonstrative adjective. Similarly, we have interrogative adjectives. All the WH questions once again. What, which, whom, etc. are interrogative because they ask questions. Once again, they will be immediately followed by the noun, so we understand easily that it is demonstrative adjective. So they are the same words, but as in interrogative pronoun, the same question words, WH words are used here. But to differentiate, let us see that in demonstrative adjectives, immediately these words will be followed by the noun. For example, what day is today? Which car did you purchase? Immediately these words are followed by the noun. And the last kind of adjective that we are going to discuss is possessive adjective. Again, as the word suggests, it shows possession. Possession of the noun, by the noun. For example, this dress is mine, or this house is mine, hers, his, its. These are words that show possession. For example, he gave him his pen, showing that the pen belongs to him. So, or the cat hurt its leg, again pointing out to the possession, the cat's leg. So here these words come under possessive adjectives. So we quickly revise once again. Adjectives. What are adjectives? Describing words. And which words they describe? Nouns or pronouns. The different kinds of adjectives here. The first, adjective of quality, which describe nouns like say tall student, pretty girl, young boy. Adjective of quantity, which refer to some quantity like some milk, much money, many students or few students. Adjective of numbers including cardinal numbers like 2, 3, 4, or showing orders like first, second, third. He was standing last in the row. So all the ordinal numbers. Demonstrative adjectives. There are 4 words that are used for demonstrating things. These are this, that, these, those. Interrogative for asking questions, what, which, whom, etc. All the WH words. And finally, possessive adjective, which shows possession or belongingness. Mine, hers, his, its. Now you see, many of these words are used as adjectives as well as pronouns. So how do we differentiate? The easy tip to differentiate between words which are similar to adjectives as well as pronouns is to know that adjectives will be immediately followed by the noun. I hope you understand. Now we are going to discuss today the 4th part of speech, and in fact one of the most important parts of speech, that is verbs. Verb can be classified as state of being, a word that shows the state of being, or action. Maybe we identify words with action, but it also shows the state of being. Let us see this example. When I say the state of being, for example, India is my country, or my father is a doctor. The state of being. It can also specify action, as I've written an example here. Raman hit the ball hard. The word hit is showing action, so hit is the verb here. So it can be the state of verb. Words that show the state of being or action is called as verb. Now let us see how verbs are mainly classified. We have 2 kinds of verb, principal or main verb. When there is only one verb in the sentence, then it is the principal or main verb. When there are more than one verbs in the sentence, we classify them as helping or auxiliary verb and principal or main verb. Let us see the examples here to understand better. When I say principal or main verb, here India is my country. Is the only verb in this sentence. So is the main verb. Here again, Raman hit the ball hard. It's the only verb in the sentence, and hit is the main verb. In the first sentence, the verb shows the state of being, and in the second sentence, it is an action verb. So here there is only, in both the sentences, there is only one verb, so it is the principal or the main verb. When there are more than one verbs, how do we identify? The principal verb and the helping verb or auxiliary verb. Let us see these examples. It is raining heavily. Now here there are two words. Is raining. Is, that is the helping word and the action word is shown by raining. The action verb will become the main verb or principal verb and is will become the auxiliary verb. So here, see the second example also. He may come today. Come shows the action, so it is the principal verb. Whereas may is only telling that a possibility of the action and it is a helping verb or auxiliary verb. So here we see that the role of the helping verb or auxiliary verb is usually to show the tense or the mood of the situation or the possibility of the action. So when there are more than two words, we will have to break them up as auxiliary verb and principal verb. The main action would be marked as the principal verb and the verb that shows the tense, mood or possibility of the verb will be the helping verb or auxiliary verb. Now, verbs are also classified as transitive verb and intransitive verb. Let us see this classification too. I'll keep the examples, the first two examples. Next main classification of verb is intransitive verb and transitive verb. When is the verb intransitive? If you see this first sentence, India is my country. The action or it is only a state of being or the action is not passed on to another or there is no receiver of the action. Let us take another example, say the birds are flying. It will be more clear to you. When I say the birds are flying, the verb here is flying and the action is not passed on to any object, or in other words we say there is no receiver of the action. In that case, the verb flying is called as intransitive verb. When the action is not passed on to any other noun or pronoun, or we can say when there is no receiver of the action, it is intransitive verb. The second case here, again as I said, India is my country. Here is showing there is actually no action, it's only a state of being. So this is already obviously intransitive verb. Let us see this third example. Raman hit the ball hard. Now here the verb is hit or the action is hit. And we see what did he hit? He hit the ball. There is a receiver of the action. The noun ball is the receiver of the action. And here it is called the object of the action, because when we ask the question, what did Raman hit? We get the answer, the ball. In the noun form, we get the answer, the ball. The action is passed on from Raman to ball. From one noun, Raman is also noun, from one noun to the other. In that case, we call the verb hit as transitive verb. So once again I tell you how it is. When the action is passed from one noun or pronoun to the other, noun or pronoun, then in that case the verb is called as the transitive verb. And we can know by asking the question to the verb, what? We ask the question, what, to the verb, and we get the reply as the object of this verb. Here for example, what did Raman hit? Raman hit the ball. The object in the sentence of the verb is the ball. So here Transitive verbs can be identified by asking what, and when we ask what, we get the receiver of the action or we get the object of the verb. So we have seen we brought another classification of verb as intransitive and transitive verbs. When the action is not passed from one noun to or pronoun to the other noun or pronoun, it is intransitive. When there is a receiver of the action and the action is passed from one noun or pronoun to the other noun or pronoun, we call it as transitive verb.